So in the previous video we had discussed about the Carney's method. I had derived the equation for rotational factor and rotational moment, then I had solved a simple problem to demonstrate how the Carney's method works. So this is another problem which we are going to solve. In this we are going to analyze this beam, which is of 3 spans, span AB, BC and CD. Span AB being 3 meter in length, BC and CD being 4 meter in length. Then you can see the loading from the figure. On span AB we have 80 kN, on span BC we have 50 kN per meter of UDL, and then on CD we have 40 kN concentrated load. So first what we do is that we basically solve the fixed end moments. So I have solved the fixed end moments MFAB, MFBA, BC, CB, MFCD and MFDC. Okay, you can verify the values that have been solved here using the calculator. Okay, next is that we need to draw this table in order to identify our rotational factor. So first what we do is we take the joints which are connected by more than one member. So we'll consider joint B and joint C. Joint B is connected by 2 members, BA and BC. Joint C is connected by CB and CD. Okay, so let us solve the stiffness value of those members. So the stiffness of member BA will be 1.5 times of I divided by 3, which is I by L. So I is 1.5 times of I, L is 3 meter. So the stiffness value of BA is 1.5 divided by 3. Similarly for BC it is 2I by 4, CB it is 2I by 4, and for CD it is I by 4. So once you calculate the stiffness value, what you do is that you calculate the joint stiffness for B and C. I have not written any values over here. I have directly calculated how much is the rotation factor. Okay, that's why I have not written. Okay, anyway you can solve it and write down what is the joint stiffness of B and C. So we have calculated the rotation factor by taking the sum of these two and calculating the joint stiffness. So stiffness value divided by joint stiffness multiplied by negative of half, that will give you the rotational factor. I hope you all remember the equation which I have given in the previous class, right? So Uij will be equals to Kij divided by summation of Ki into minus of 1 by 2. Okay, so this will give you the rotation factor. By using this equation we can solve the rotation factor for BA, BC, CB and CD. Okay, so once we solve the rotation factor, I told you to draw this chart to solve. Okay, so first of all what we do is that we first draw the diagram, that is a tree diagram like this for branches which are connected, for the joints which are connected by 2 members. So joint B and joint C has been drawn. I told you previously, I have explained in the previous class also why we do these 4 boxes. Okay, so in most of our structures any joint will be connected by 4 members. We cannot connect a joint by more than 4 members practically. So that's why I have drawn 4 compartments in this rectangle. So this compartment, in this compartment or in this portion we are going to write the rotation factor for BA. In this bracket, in this portion we are going to write the rotation factor for BC. So let us try to know what is the rotation factor for BA. Rotation factor for BA is minus 0.25. For BC also it is minus 0.25. So see here, in this portion and this portion I have written minus 0.25, minus 0.25. Similarly going for C, in C it is connected by member CB and CD. So the rotation factor for CB is minus 0.334, which I have written here. Maybe it is not visible to you, but I have written minus 0.334. Okay, if it is possible, try to zoom in and see what is the value that I have written. Okay, now for member CD the rotation factor is minus 0.167. okay, so that is written over here. Okay, now once you write the rotation factors, we know that we will not write any rotation factor for A or D, we'll leave it. Okay, so whatever the line that I have drawn, above the line I'll write the fixed end moments, below the line I'll write the rotation moments. Okay, so here once you write the fixed end moment, so MFAB, MFBA, MFBC, CB, CD and DC are written. Okay, so once they are written, next step is to start our iterations of calculating the rotation moments. So how to calculate the rotation moments? So we'll go back to that equation. I hope you all remember that. If you want to calculate Mij, okay, so Mij will be equals to Uij multiplied by summation of MFI plus of summation of MFJ I. Okay, so this we knew. In the previous video I had solved this derivation where I gave you the rotation moment, how to calculate the rotation moment and how to calculate the rotation factor. So this is your rotation factor, this is your rotation moment. So in this what we do, we take the sum of fixed end moment at that particular joint, we take the summation of rotation moments of the far end, and taking the sum of this and multiplying with the rotation factor, we are going to solve for Mij. Okay, now in this figure we will try to identify what is Mfi and what is Mfji. Okay, Mji, sorry, this is a small correction. Mji represents the rotation at the far end, Mij represents the rotation at the near end. I hope you all remember. So we had also used double dash symbol. Mij is representing the rotation at the near end, Ji is representing the rotation moment at the far end. Okay, I have not written over here, anyhow I'll just correct it quickly. So now I have corrected all the values, I hope, right? So what we'll do is we'll calculate how much is Mij values in the first iteration. Okay, I told you at the fixed ends there is no rotation. So at the fixed end, if it is no rotation, we can write here the rotation moment equal to 0. If there is no rotation, if there is no theta that will be generated, then the rotation moment will also equal to 0. So that's why at this joint, at joint A, the rotation is equal to 0. If the rotation is equal to 0, rotation moment is also equal to 0. So at this point it is 0, and at D also it is equal to 0. Okay, the next thing is when we start with the first iteration, in the first iteration, now we know that the rotation moment at A is equal to 0, the rotation moment at B we need to calculate. So at B we will have two moments, one is BA, the other one is BC. Okay, so we need to solve the rotation moment M"BA, we need to solve for M"BA, and we need to solve for M"BC. These are the two values to be solved now. Okay, now what we do is that the rotation moment at this joint we are considering it to be 0. In the first iteration, let me assume, okay, which is not true, at this there exists a rotation. If there exists a rotation, then there definitely exists a rotation moment also. But in the first iteration what we do is that we consider here that the rotation is equals to 0. Okay, we are assuming it. So I have written here 0, and this was already a 0. You know why it is 0? Because it is fixed condition. Okay, now at the top of these squares I have written summation of MFB. Summation of MFB means what? Summation of fixed end moment at joint, at that particular joint is, I have solved it. Okay, so summation of MFB means what? 17.77 minus of 16.67 will be your MFB. Similarly I have solved for MFC also, which is representing fixed end moment at C, which is equals to 66.67 minus of 20, which is 46.67. I have solved this in advance. Okay, now let us go and solve for M"BA. I am solving here this value. Once I solve this, afterwards I will solve M"BC. Okay, so all these values we are calculating the rotation moments. Okay, so let us solve for M"BA. M"BA can be calculated by UBA multiplied by summation of MFB plus of summation of M"JI values. Okay, so at this end what we need to do is we need to add these two rotation moments, these two which are 0 already, and these two should be added by summation of fixed end moment with this. Okay, so once you add the sum of all these three, you have to multiply with the rotation factors, respective rotation factor, which is minus 0.25, minus 0.25, and you have to write over here. So here UBA, as we know, it is minus 0.25 multiplied by M"JI. These two values are 0 itself, so I have to multiply it by minus 48.9. Okay, so minus 0.25 multiplied by minus 48.9 will give you 12.25. Okay, so other side is also the same rotation factor, so that's why this is also 12.25, this is also 12.25, which is equally divided. Okay, now once this step completes, so what we do is that we write here 0, and we'll write this zero, we can start solving over here. Okay, so we will leave this iteration here itself. We can leave this iteration here itself. What we do is that I am writing here below, because initially I considered it to be 0. Now I'll write below here. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll take the sum of MFC, summation of MFC 46.67. okay, then I'll add the far end moments. Now far end moments are 12.25 plus of 0. okay, see here, this I have calculated from the previous iteration. This is the value which is calculated from the previous iteration. Now I am considering while solving in this. Okay, so 46.67 plus of 12.25 plus of 0 multiplied by the rotation factor, which is minus 0.334, I'll write over here. Okay, in the next step, when I am calculating for this, what I'll do is 12.25 plus of 44.67 multiplied by minus 0.167, I'll write the value over here. So this will give me the m double dash CB value, m double dash CD value, which are the rotation moments at CB and CD. Okay, now this completes the first iteration. Okay, now once what I have done, I have written this completely. Now I'll go previous to the first joint, which was B joint. Again in this joint, now when I was solving in the previous iteration, I didn't have any value over here, because earlier in the first step I considered it to be 0. I assumed it to be 0, right? Now from the previous iteration itself, I have come to know that the rotation here is nearly equals to 19.68. okay, so what I'll do is, now I'll go for the second iteration. In the second iteration, what I do, I'll add the MFB values, minus 48.9 plus of 0 plus of minus 19.68. okay, so this plus this multiplied by the rotation factors, I'll write these values, which are 17.145. okay, now we have begin with the second iteration. Okay, now in the second iteration, I'll go over here. Okay, now again 46.67 is added with this value, which is 17.145 plus of 0 multiplied with the respective rotation factors, and they are written over here. Okay, these two, right? Now this completes the second iteration. Now we'll again go back and verify that our values, rotation far and rotation factor, rotation moments have been changed. Previously it was 19.68, now it is changed to 21.31, right? Now again what I'll do is, I'll go with the third iteration. In this iteration, again this minus 48.9 is added with minus 21.31 multiplied by the rotation factors. I'll write the values of rotation moments, which is 17.55 and 17.55. okay, again you can solve for further. So in this, what I'll do, again 46.67 plus of 17.55 multiplied by the respective rotation factors, I'll write the values over here. Okay, now like this, when I'm solving this, you can see that the variation in the values from the preceding value is very minimal. In the decimal it is changing. Okay, now I can say that my rotation moments are fairly precise. I can consider them as to be fairly precise. Now in the next step, what I'll do is, I'll only try to balance this one. Okay, I'll multiply minus 48.9 minus of 21.45 multiplied by the respective factor, I'll write over here. Okay, and I won't go for further step. Okay, if I go for further step, what will happen, there is another two rotation moments which will be created, which will be solved, and they will vary in precise, in decimals it will vary. So because of that, again I have to continue this procedure of balancing this joint B. So this will continue. So what we can do is that when the values are precisely varying, okay, with a small decimal if it is varying, okay, then we can stop the iterations from where we begin. We begin at B and we have ended at B itself. Okay, we started solving at B joint and we ended at joint B itself. I won't solve for C joint. If I solve for C joint, again there is a change in the rotation moment for joint B, right? Far end rotation moments will change for joint B. Again I have to continue the step, so that's why I'll stop at this point. Okay, now what I'll do is, this ceases my iterations. Once I cease this iteration, I'll call all these as the rotation moments at that particular ends. Okay, so the rotation moment at the AB is 0, the rotation moment at BA is 17.58, the rotation moment at BC is 17.58, the rotation moment at CB is minus 21.45, the rotation moment at CD is 10.72, then similarly at DC it is 0. Okay, so these are my final rotation moments. So once you write these final rotation moments, next step is to solve for far end rotation moments, right? Now the carryover pressure will continue. So in this carryover pressure, what we need to do, from BA I have to carry over to AB, from AB we have to carry over to BA. Now similarly from BC to CB, CB to BC has been carried over in the next span, which is CD to DC, and DC to CD has been carried over. So these red lines, red values are representing you the far end rotation moments, and blue values are representing you the near end rotation moments. So once you solve these moments, which are far end rotation moments and near end rotation moments, next step is to solve m double dash ij, which is end moments. So how do you solve the end moments? End moments are solved by this equation, which we already knew. Mij is equals to mfij plus of mfij plus of 2 times of m double dash ij plus of m double dash ji, okay, which we knew this equation. So again we'll use this equation to calculate the MAB values, MBA, MBC, and etc. Okay, so let us calculate the end moments, the final end moments. So first of all, in the first line I am writing all the fixed end moments. So all these fixed end moments are written in this row. Okay, in the next row what I will write is the values which are multiplied with 2 times of m double dash ij. Okay, this line, this row has to be multiplied with 2 and they have to be written in this line. Okay, next is m double dash ji values, which are the moments of the far end rotation moments. They have to written in the next row. Okay, let us take the sum, and by taking the sum of all these we could be able to calculate how much is mij values, or we can call it as final end moments. So here minus 35.55 plus of 0 plus of 17.58. So what is 0 is? 0 is your near end rotation moment, 17.58 is far end rotation moment. So if we take the sum of this, we will get to know how much is the value of end moment at AB. Now similarly we can solve for BA, BC. Now look at BC. So what is the fixed end moment at BC? It is minus 66.67. So how much is the moment moment due to rotation at near end? It is 17.58. So 2 times of 17.58 has to be done. So it has to be multiplied by 2 times of this value. Okay. So minus 66.67 plus of 2 times of 17.58 minus of 21.45. What is 21.45? 21.45 is the far end rotation moment. Okay. Now taking the sum of this, I will get to know how much is MBC. Similarly, you can calculate for MCB, CD, DC. Okay. So this is how we have solved all the end moment values using the Kani's method. So this completes the second problem. Okay. So you can solve the continuous beams which are solved in the previous modules using the Kani's method and try to verify the values. Okay. In all the 3 methods you have to get the same end moments itself. So that's why you can, if you want to solve more number of problems, if you want to practice for more problems, what you do is that you take the problems which are solved in the slope deflection and the moment distribution, you solve it using the Kani's method, so that you can verify the values of end moments with all the previous methods. Okay, so this way you can practice the methods, different methods. Okay, right. So if you have any problem while solving this problem, you can ask me the question. If there is any other difficulty in solving this problem, you can ask me the question. Or if there is any problem that you find which is difficult to solve, and if you found in any question paper, you can send it to me. I'll solve it in the video sessions and I'll send it to you. Okay, thank you.